And if you've got the majority of that map by yourself up on that northern side, especially with where the plane line was headed, think of all the teams that are going to be rotating on in. Not that many, but for now, the one that's on everyone's mind is the Fnatic roster, kind of separated out by this Opal Palace area. And this is a very typical location for them to drop in.
Yeah, this Opal Palace area is wide open as well for this squad. Nobody even very close at all. So two of our top teams, at least in a lot of people's minds, are at the top. So they are wide open, and as we head over to what would be some early contention, it looks like Mop getting mopped up as the seaside area is wide open now for the taking for DSAB. And speaking of DSAB, that's a fun team to watch out for. Talk about a true underdog story. Make it in, because a couple teams drop out going into LCQs, and so we open up one more spot when in theory leaving their last round they thought they were done for.
And that's exactly where this roster steps in, right? Psych, you got Crisscrossed and Tommy. They were a squad that likely wouldn't have gotten to play in the last chance qualifier, but because of all the subs and everyone kind of moving around, they crew into that very final spot. And what a story this would be if Tommy decides to kind of lock it in here today and find themselves in that top 4 or even the wild card. But when you've got that iron sight right there connecting onto Omega, you love to see it, but not necessarily going to push the issue. You got Scythe and Big Man kind of locking down the high ground control across the way.
Look, if there's anything I know about Warzone, there's always an underdog story. There's always something that surprises everybody. It's not going to go according to paper. There's going to be a team that makes global finals today, mark my words, that we did not expect. There's going to be some of the top Warzone competition out there that will not make. But a fight finally on our hands, slowly but surely trying to find an opening knock, and there it is. Cross goes down. We'll have to trade. They're going to trade at least one out, but I don't know if Psych can clean it up. This is going to be a full loss on the side of Squad 40. Needs to get out of dodge as fast as humanly possible. May try to make the hero play because, well, it's LCQs. Why not? Goes for the nade, push. Nope, not going to have a chance for it. Goes down.
Yo, there were so many things that went wrong right there, but I almost thought for a second when we kind of slid around and turned, I thought we might have been able to pull that together, even with the shoulder peaks, but we'll check in with them later because Joe Gang on the screen already put in one elimination and just kind of trying to find the angles, the pathways across. Finesse, though, opening things up with that knock onto Oakboy, but Ryder coming back with the trades.
Yeah, talk about a true underdog story. Winning this encounter is a massive boon for this team. Seeded 39th going into this. They were 36th in lower bracket round 2. They sub out one of their teammates and pick up Joe Gang, who was dropped going into this. Would have been seeded 2nd with that Vexo team, but was dropped by his team, so he gets picked up by this squad. This squad is one to keep our eyes out for if they start slaying out, because that is a crazy story to go from way down to the bottom of the leaderboard in lower bracket round 2 all the way to potentially making global finals. Watch out. Could be a crazy moment for the history books. But speaking of the history books, looks like we already got a couple teams fully wiped, and I'm looking at OP marked out of here. Looks like Quay out of here. 2 teams out, at least out of the lobby for now, if they can't get back from the gulag.
Well, those gulags are going to be pretty hot this early on, but I love that we kind of had already seen a team clear out Rostava's shots, right? There's just not that many teams that have found themselves up to that northwestern side of things. Another squad that did is maybe that team Mutex landing all the way up in Kotovo blocks have already started to carve their way back in for Sitrep, Exact, Sneely. Teams like this have to kind of navigate through that center of Urzikstan, and depending on where that circle starts to pull in production, I love it with that mini map right there. You can see they've got the majority of that northern side of Old Town to themselves. The teams that are going to be still in Pop-Alv rated. Yes, you get that POI to yourself, but what you're not getting are these early game eliminations that maybe you get scrappy with some ground loot and you feel confident with the SMG or the AR that you pick up and you're like, all right, cool, let's throw down. You're not going to get that opportunity.
Yeah, this Team 4, frankly, I think it's bad news that they're so alone. They need kills, and they know it. So that's why they're hopping into the vehicle to rotate. They're going to try to get to a better spot across the river here up towards Popov is where we expect this circle to go. And as we continue to swing around to different teams, Team 5 on your screen. This is Tommy, the now 2nd highest earner in Warzone history, now falling behind Biffle after his success recently at EWC. Needs to make a move to global finals with this kind of new squad, and well, he sends out the 2 young guns from Australia playing in North America this time around, as all of a sudden we swap back over to Joe Gang, and well, our underdog story being cut short quickly by one of our top dogs, Intex, Mutex, cut down that Alexander team.
Yeah, they rotate all the way down from that northwestern side, but let's see here about Joe Gang in the Gulag, and then I'll kind of chat about their rotation. You got Sin, BKS on the opposing side. Joe takes some nice, good shots, but unfortunately cannot get the job done. Gets a little windy there in the Gulag. Not sure who let the draft in, but we'll see if Finesse can make their way out. Yeah,
2 players in the Gulag here. They're going to be hanging out for a little while. Off screen, several fights happening as Old Town is slowly but surely getting more and more contested. You got several teams up in military trying to make their way potentially towards Pop-Off. You never know with these circles. It could pull to the far eastern side, up towards the main, as it were, of Urzikstan, way up there where Dandro lives. But continue with our action as our players rotate heavily across this map, way on the outside. This is south of military. This is Tommy about to run into this J-Tech team. Seemingly have their sights locked onto him, likely a UAV in the air. Spotted one, no connection yet.
Not sure if I'm excited about this rotation where you're trying to kind of clear out this side. Obs is doing a great job of holding this area because you're going to have that high ground onto that B-Mark roster. Now, you did see just before coming on over here that they were throwing down mortars over towards that team's Stemper to kind of just say, do not push over here. We're kind of preoccupied with this opposing squad. So that gives them a little more uncontested time. Now, granted, as soon as they get into that engagement, there's a likelihood of that third party. So you have to start thinking about your fight timings. For this squad, Lawlet, Super Rob, kind of on that southern side of the zone where the majority of our squads are going to be rotating in. It's the same thing for them. That timing is of the essence, and they've lost the high ground there for Clutch Falcon. Now, how do you navigate around that?
Another X Factor, omit Teenix, a sub onto this squad. A long-standing trio actually subs out one of the players for Teenix, trying to make a move. Unfortunately, a couple C4s do not land where they should. Teenix falls as well. It's all up to Lawlet to run away. This is one of our very, very few console players still in this competition. Readboy, the other, and I think the only other still in this competition, both trying to make global finals. I don't know what are they going to do if they make LAN? Are they going to play on PC or like bring a console or something? I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they'll feel like they get buffed if they make globals.
You know, I didn't even think about that. And Tommy here on your screen, the trophy system goes down, but not before that thermite does a little bit of work. The self-res comes in, but now we've got to worry about how do we reset? How do we approach this? Because it's very typical of how Tommy likes to organize his plays, right? Strategic, cerebral, teeny, obs, Tommy looking for the entryways, and we just get onto the catwalk. Goodbye, accept, and there's a squad wipe.
There they are. They're looking a little bit more in final form right now. I like it. A big take, by the way, on the edge of zone. The problem is they got a lot of work still to ahead of them. Look at all the teams that are having to rotate around this military base area, and this Tommy team is the furthest team on the outside of the eastern side of the map. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4 teams ahead of them, likely able to hold them as the new zone will come in shortly. Watch out, that Tommy squad definitely not out of hot water yet, but that's exactly where they want to be. They want kills. And speaking of kills, this team on your screen, I think they're on like 7, 8 something in total. Looking pretty strong so far.
I see at least 6, and they've got that Stable J Green Doze roster in their sights on that rotation. Well, let's see how it goes. Got to get Almond back on in the fray. And you can see that kind of on the bottom right-hand side and on main of what occurred there. For now, Noob Skullface looking for a reset. They've got plenty of cash, and as they kind of work up that way towards the eastern side of Lowtown, they're getting mirrored. And that's what's scary as that circle keeps pulling on north and you're trying to hit a reset. How do you do it without forcing yourself into a potential 2v3?
Yeah, what we didn't see here is that Tommy's team rotated way out on the outskirts of the zone all the way to the north side of military base. So they were south, now they're up north. The problem is still not out of hot water, still along sightline, still a team ahead of them holding. And now that we lose one, here comes the onslaught. Rob, IQ, Solidify, pushing the equation, trying to make a move. Teeny on the hold here. They've got a nice perspective looking over. They have to get a knock and a cleanup to make this a free and clear victory to rotate into new. Still getting held. Off screen, what you didn't see, that Fnatic team, Team 12, the team that we expected to be at the top. Sure, 7 eliminations. Unfortunately, they fell in 33rd. They are out of this lobby. Almond in the lobby waiting for the next map.
See, that's what I was telling you. They were getting mirrored on that rotation up, looking for the regain, and you find yourself in a 2v3, that squad mirroring them, Team Z colors. That's the one that Super Ebb was like, this is going to be an integral squad to the LCQs, but Teeny falls, Obs back in it alongside Tommy. But we're stacking this staircase, and it's getting a little too mixy for our liking. Obs cannot withhold and suppress while Tommy finishes that plates. C4 is gonna have to do the brunt of the work there, but you don't see a hit marker. Now, Tommy, not necessarily in shambles, but this is what makes a good player great. It's these moments where you have to really ice it up in a fight and find that cash to get your squad back.
Frankly, about a step and a half away from winning this full team fight and wiping that number 9 squad there in the salmon color. That's Omega running away. A sub for that team as well. Another X Factor looking to make some waves here today after getting dropped by his team. But Tommy on 3, this team looking fairly strong. The problem is now got to get to a buy station and doesn't have enough cash to get a teammate back. So a long road ahead of Tommy to get back into this map with still 32 teams remaining. We're not even into the first multiplier yet. 1.2x doesn't start till 30th. Long way to go.
Oh, and then you see that prospect knock occurring, right? They just got into some of their first fights over in Pop-Off Power, but DSAV, Collat, CK, they're a squad that's going to be making their way on in. And if you notice, there was one player floating across their mini-map. That's the last member of that team rated squad. A lot of our teams here in shambles early on.
Yeah, we're seeing Lollet get fully eliminated there as well. So a squad, again, we had just shouted out, not going their way here as we near this fourth circle. No. Now 30 teams. We're into the first multiplier, but look at this circle, Tiff. Top left-hand corner of our screen. It is all pop-off all day, and who's been here the whole time? It's been this rated squad. The problem is there are a ton of teams here, and Rated's team gets pushed out and fully eliminated. Just getting here first doesn't mean you're going to be the last team here.
Yeah, when you get your numbers kind of dwindled by the rosters that are rotating in that have already been fighting in this lobby, DSAV, they make a great team call out there to just kind of push that last remaining player. So not only do we have the Fnatic roster down and out, but hopefully Rated squad survives gulags, or maybe they're okay. We'll get confirmation of whether they're full out or not. But you made a comm earlier before this map, right? It's talking about maybe the lower threshold of the lobby because we've already kind of locked in our best teams to land, right? Well, something that you have to think about when it comes to, you know, lower, I hate calling it lower quality, it's just not, but you never know what's going to happen. These teams have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So they're going to be chowing everything. They're going to be making these plays that you just wouldn't expect in a normal tournament, right? Because they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, nothing to lose, everything to gain. Got to make a move and got to make a move now. Some of our top teams fully out. Now, again, go check out that map view over on YouTube here on the Call of Duty channel. I got to say, some of our top teams fully eliminated, Rated fully out of this lobby. Vexo, Abe, they were second seed. They're seeded second into this competition. That's that number 2. They're out of here as well. Fnatic, gone. We've got Team Grev with Desmond, gone. There's a lot of big teams. We expected to do big things. Not doing it in the very first map. Still 4 more to go after this. We'll see who takes the top spot after map number 1. Several teams in the area. Who's going to strike first?
Well, for now, Sunny, except Rudy, the squad number 6, they're kind of in that lower side of Pop-Off Power, but kind of neighboring that coast on the right. Now, the big issue about that right-hand side is you've got that bridge in play, and there is a squad on that bridge, and that's going to be Team Z Colors, the one that's already taken down Fnatic. And if you take down Fnatic in a lobby, you're like, all right, this is my game. And as you can see, the biggest course of action for some of our teams that are working on that rotate on out, I'm talking about Team Tommy from Military Base. You've got to get over here towards the Pop-Off Power side. But it's looking scary because a lot of the prime buildings that I would want to play from have been taken.
Yeah, quick look on the edge of zone here. Still Tommy deep into the zone, being held by a full team. Again, a very long road ahead of Tommy. Not sure he's going to be able to do hardly anything for it. Does apparently get Oz back, who immediately gets eliminated as well. So Tommy's just going to hang out here for a very long time, trying to play with a PDS to make a rotation. And now that it looks like Team Impurity has somebody else in their sights, maybe he can make a wrap here. Doesn't have a gas mask. He's going to come in right behind this team. Should be able to just barely sneak in for now. But frankly, I don't even know if this matters. I don't think Tommy will ever make it to a top 10 situation. However, there is a classic saying. At this point, it's got to be a proverb of Call of Duty. You never count out Tommy, ever. So we'll check back with him later to see if he can make it. Never count out that man. He always makes it work eventually.
Ooh, and then we get a full north pull here. So squad number 6 on your screen is going to have a massive rotation. You have Team Z Colors on that bridge, but something that Team Tommy did, kind of once he got Obs back, Obs made a play to land on the other side of the water. Yes, they kind of fell there, and that's all right. They get the reset. Now Tommy's able to cross the water and hit a regain alongside him, and as soon as I say that, gets picked by Green Doze and Ryda. All right, That's the last time I say anything nice.
Look, you never count out Tommy. Unfortunately, that was the rotate of death. There was just no way they were making it through that one. Several teams falling in the kill feed as well. But much except look around the corner. Where will I find my first target? A full team of 3 means all you need is a knock, and then you full send these teams. You need kills, not just placement. And this team certainly knows it. Coming in seeded 6th, an opportunity to make well, frankly, make some waves on the timeline. I think a lot of folks not looking for this team to do a ton today. Certainly could be a team that could win it all if they can piece it all together in the very first map. Put some points on the board early, but here we go. Valid hands, ST on the rotate. Valid, a sub for their team, looking to be an X Factor, unfortunately cut down immediately. Sir Taylor in trouble, likely fully eliminated. See ya, IQ on the other side. One of these squads, I think a lot of folks call them the Underhorse, bringing in to solidify. They could make waves, but they are a very hot or a very cold team. They're either going to dominate or they are going to immensely struggle. Watch out for that trio.
Yeah, and we're still just trying to get in on the northern side of things. You got the remnants of Team Big Man just on the opposite side of the bridge here. For Crafty and Zen, I think they're going to have no problem to kind of wrap up this roster. A lot of damage there, but all right, we'll see if we can connect it. Gotta throw the munitions box down or resupply up on the lethals. But on the other side of things, we sit on accept for so long, but they're finally starting to get into that action gauge. They've got the gas at their backs, nowhere else to go but forward. And that Devo roster out towards their left could throw a wrench into their rotation plan. Wait, actually, we're collapsing on the left side. Go, Sonny.
Yeah, this is a big rotation. This is going to make or break their first map. They're able to get loadout, get resources, get locked and loaded, but there are so many teams in their way, and we continue to pull north. Quick look at the map there. It is all the way at the very top of Urzikstan. I'm talking almost out of pop-off power, even touching the out-of-bounds zone, all right? So we are way up. Everybody's got to rotate up and through. The only teams there, Team 31, Team 4, those are going to be your top 2 teams already in position. That sit rep already there with Exact and Sneely. They went very, very early. And then Team 31, that's going to be Rumble, as you see several teams falling in the kill feed.
Now, there's a really good reason why they went to the north early, that Team Exact. But for now, let's worry about Team JTech. JTech on 4 eliminations, Slide on 3. We're sitting at north of 7, and we finally found ourselves into that 1.4x multiplier. So make it all count, but we still have to move. 1 PDS down being used here. We have a heck of a rotation just ahead of us to that north. And yes, you get to zone early, but what can you do when you have to hold it? You're likely going to have to coexist in some of these buildings in the north.
Yeah, this rotation, they likely go out left and north here to the western side of the zone, and they're going to run into likely that Believe Mutex squad that is slaying out in the kill feed. That is Team 11 in the kind of deep orange. They're in trouble on edge. They're going to run right in and likely third party that team if they can make this rotation. They're going to make it as slow as they can, though, with the PDS, because every place will matter. We're looking at top 10. That's our next multiplier. That's 1.6. It's a big one for a lot of these teams that have a ton of points on the leaderboard already, looking to maximize their kills. You see Team 14, Riaz, fully eliminated. Another top team out before the big multipliers, likely not near the top of the leaderboard, going into map number 2. Still a lot of ground to make up, still a lot of work to do, and this B-Mark team going to do everything they can after they lose 1, though. Who is there on the other side, Tiff? It's Exact, already in position, holding that spot. Will they be able to hold on with the high ground?
And they need to. Slide B-Mark just trying to delay the inevitable. They're going to have to go for a full wrap, but have not been able to get there just yet. At the very least, make it into that top 10. Get the 1.6x multiplier and let your kills do the work. Unfortunately, you go down just before it. We run out of resources. Nothing's left. But look at that Clutch Belk Assault Lovey roster. They start chaining those smokes together to kind of make a Hail Mary run towards the north. And now they're effectively gatekeeping that Sneely roster.
Here we go. Squad 26, Stable J, Destroy's brother, made waves on land, trying to make waves here in the final zone. 9 teams remaining. We're in the 1.6 multiplier. Stable J, no kills to his name, but the team has a couple. Several downs, but not a single elimination. I don't think they're going to have enough kills to really make a difference on this leaderboard, but they would love to win map 1 to make a statement that they're here to play and here to compete. There are several teams now going to rotate to them. Look at this next zone. Okay. It rotates all the way back down into Popov, right on top of that Future Has Game team. Baba Huff is in the perfect position to win it all. We got vehicles roaming the edge of zone, looking for any kill we can get our hand on. This Stable J team has a long way to run and a lot of teams in the way, but it's Future Has Game that I've got my eyes on, and they are in trouble because Clutch Belk and Exact both want that high ground position on the other side of the zone.
And here comes that full push by Sitrep and Exact, and they just trying to hold down. Now, you mentioned it, right? Stable J can clutch up on land. Can he clutch up here? Can he pick up some more eliminations, knowing that there's only a potential for 6 more?
Wow.
Also, what is this car's KD? What is this LTV doing here? We are taking it around the building, hitting that final wrap as Exact makes that control of the mobile buy station. They've got all 3 members upstanding. This could be theirs to win.
It's Exact to win and theirs to lose. They have player advantage. They have position. It's a 3v1 v2, an easy win for them. Make that actually a 3v1 v1. This is theirs in a body bag. They're gonna walk home with a victory. The big question in my mind is how many eliminations do they have? I think they only have like 7. Again, you gotta make your 2x multipliers count. They need both of these kills and the win to make this a decent game, barely above average what we expect the threshold to be. But here we go. C4 is the push coming out. Gonna play trades here. They should win this no problem as long as they don't sell. A couple people floating down below. Now reminder, top 5s are all the same multipliers, so second, third doesn't matter. Looking for the kills here, Tiff.
Starting from the high ground, we're just kind of peeking over the edge, but not for too long to find that information. You wrap up CK, and now it's a 3v1. So here we go, straight onto Oreo season, regardless, that 1.8x multiplier. And hey, you're almost thanking them for hitting that res to give you those more eliminations, because that's a nice solid 2-point right for you. And even if Get Picked goes out into the gas to try and throw it away, we still claim that elimination. A beautiful map 1 victory there for Sitrep squad.
I gave them a task, Tiff. I said get all the kills and the win, and they got all the kills +1 with the buyback there. That's a total of 10 kills and a victory. Folks, that's a 20-point game. We take those. They're excited, I'm sure, and I think a 20-point game is about minimum what you needed with a win here. Should put them near the top of the leaderboard, if not at the top. And again, they were 4th seed coming in, Tiff, and they don't want to be 4th at the end of this. That is just way too close for comfort. This team wants to win it all.
Yeah, and this was just such a brilliant way to open things up, and I'd love to go ahead and